Hello, and this is another Hero Headcanon Rant. No, I don't have a clever death trap to say that I escaped from because really I've been dealing with a massive ear infection for the past 3 months, and I'm still dealing with it. So, yeah, here we go. We've seen it done 3 times now outside of the original Death of Superman comic. 4 if we count the episode of Justice League where we thought the bad guys killed the Man of Steel, but in reality just sent him displaced out of time. But as that one was only a perceived death, and there was no body to be buried, obviously, I won't count it here. But it really is gripping and emotional. I will talk of those 3 actual, I'm doing air quotes, for you folks at home because the actual death of Superman will only come basically when humanity is gone. So I'm talking about the deaths of Superman as shown in Superman Doomsday, Batman vs. Superman, and of this newest DC home movie release, The Death of Superman. All of them have their faults and benefits. Yes, even BVS has something good to come from it, but I will say it now, as I've sort of alluded to by my clickbait title. I believe that the death of Superman is the best version of the story so far in other media. Why do I say that? Well, of the 3 of them, it's the only one to make me actually cry. The only one to make me actually feel some weight from the Battle of Superman and Doomsday. Because, I'll be honest, I rolled my eyes when this movie was announced. I love Superman more than ever right now. He's my second favorite superhero right now of all time. Which is basically a way of saying that he is my main favorite right now because my main hero is the one that got me into superheroes anyway. So it is a very unfair and impossible bar to climb over. Although coincidentally, the thing that cemented my main fave hero was this character's team up with the Big Blue Boy Scout. But even when he wasn't my main fave hero, was even when he wasn't my main man, I never wanted to see him get killed. I experienced the same thing with Artemis on Young Justice, even. And the idea that I was about to sit through watching Clark die once more bothered me. But thanks to my day job, I get to buy it cheaper, so here we are. I began watching with the same apprehension and relative disinterest as I probably would be if I was dragged to a nightclub. But then I got to the third act, the actual showdown. Doomsday, monster bent solely on death and destruction, versus Superman, the shining example, the greatest human to live, and holy crap. I knew how the fight would end, but I was still watching on the edge of my seat, because I think I finally watched this scene in superhero movies the way it was meant to be watched, or the way it could be viewed in a cynical-esque light. This fight, I viewed it as almost a disaster movie. And unlike the fight in Man of Steel, it was more focused on Superman saving lives. That's what Superman does. Yes, he will fight the threat, the monster, the whatever it is. But most importantly, he will save lives. This is the strength and weakness of Superman. He can tow planets on a chain. He could easily overpower the threat. And if he wasn't so concerned with copyright issues, both from the anime creators and Lex Luthor, could easily shave his head and become the ultimate One Punch Man. But that's not what Superman does. The reason he can be beaten, aside from him holding himself back to not just kill any problem he comes across, see World of Cardboard from Justice League Unlimited if you really need to understand what I mean by that. The thing that really puts Clark in danger is that he's going to save lives first. This was something that that Frankenstein monster that was the live action Justice League movie got right. Superman's primary concern was making sure the civilians were safe. And this movie exemplifies this point in perfect glory. There was a pause in between nearly every blow exchanged from Doomsday and Superman. Superman needed to break away from the fight to save lives because of the fallout of the battle. Civilians were in danger, and that was who Superman was going to care about first and foremost. He wasn't going to care if Doomsday broke his ankle as long as that little boy got to go home with his mom, then Superman did his job. And when the battle ended and both Superman and Doomsday were dead, you felt it. You felt the loss and the emotional eulogy prayer sort of thing given by Bibbo really hit hard. And in a way, hit home for me. I had actually teared up and felt it, which is the best chord that the other films could not strike at all. It gave me the emotional investment. I felt like I was a member of the DC universe and had just witnessed Superman legitimately die. I went through grief, loss, and mourning along with Batman, Jimmy Olsen, and Lois Lane. I actually felt the pain right alongside these fictional characters instead of how I thought I would feel. Oh, Superman's dead. Can't wait to see him come back in the next one. Dur, 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 dur. I actually felt like I was there and just witnessed Superman, this inspirational hero, die in front of me. Like, I felt like I was actually there. Superman Doomsday felt good for what it was. What was it? It was if Superman the Animated Series tried to adapt the death of Superman, but could only do so within maybe 3 episodes, and right before we started introducing all the other members of the DC Universe, what would that look like? It was self-contained, and I don't believe any other characters outside of immediate Superman family was there. Not even Supergirl, which is better than the other 2 versions because no other heroes were there to try and stop Doomsday. It was all up to Clark. Which is better because in the comic, yes, a Justice League was there, but it was only the international team, which, while more powerful than the Detroit era, and was actually a fun team to read about, wasn't the strongest team the League ever had. Instead of which, in the death of Superman and in Batman vs. Superman, we had some of the strongest League members of all. Just the combined might of Superman and Wonder Woman alone should be enough to stop Doomsday. Instead of which, we got to see the League totally annihilated because they got nerfed nearly beyond all recognition. Green Lantern being a hothead, sure, that could work a little and lead to Hal Jordan getting defeated, despite the fact that he should have overcome that problem because of his character arc in Justice League War. Flash didn't even get a anything broken. He just sort of gave up. At least in Justice League versus Teen Titans, he got his leg broke. Maybe if we explore this in the next movie. After all, he did mention he was going to marry Iris. Martian Manhunter's defeat by trying to protect Batman is the best and most in character. Cyborg getting pulled apart. Yeah, sure. That seems to be the only thing we can do to Cyborg since he joined the Justice League. But another problem is that we have introduced the Titans in this universe, and that they could easily have been called in. Maybe if there was a deleted scene where Batman tells them to hang back, or some indication that Starfire, someone else in the same power level as Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter, and Superman, couldn't at least have swung by, would have been appreciated. And in Batman vs. Superman, again, we had two powerhouses, and that Doomsday was a joke. But the advantage of Batman vs. Superman was that it wasn't about Superman. It was, or at least this is how it felt to me, supposed to be a film about, without another Robin, hashtag show Tim Drake love, how can we drag Bruce from the darkest depths of his soul? This was a Batman movie that just happened to have a depressed Superman in it. Somehow it's supposed to help fix Bruce's soul, but aside from maybe seeing a surrogate mom in Martha, why did you say that name? I couldn't really tell you why Batman is supposed to become better. Maybe in the 8-hour cut Zack Snyder did, it's explained better. But I didn't watch the 8-hour cut, so I can't tell you. All three of these have had strengths and weaknesses. But for the best adaptation of Superman biting the dust, go watch the Justice League episode, as it's like everything in the DCAU, except for the Bruce dating Babs thing, the greatest distillation of DC, and shows the characters in it. Again, except for the Batman dating Batgirl thing, greatest light. But the death of Superman is a good second best, and it got rid of that darn Wonder Woman Superman chip that I can't stand. So yeah, guys, go check it out, and if you have, tell me your thoughts about it below in the comments. I like comments. Likes, dislikes, views, I don't care about as much. I just want comments. So, please leave them down below, and see you next video. For Hero Headcanon, this is Josh Redburn.